night into Wednesday morning. Now at CC's, take your taste buds on a ride with Philly cheesesteak pizza, Santa Fe chicken, and Kansas City pulled pork barbecue, new on the unlimited buffet, just $5 and change at CC's. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's got third. He's going for second. Earnhardt going for the lead.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is on the Motor Racing Network.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Hear it live on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Check it out live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Hot News Talk 1240.
Wow! I feel good.
This is Shane Wilson with the Real Estate Roundtable Show every Tuesday from 11 to 12. And today, we're going to talk about how to make money in real estate. So, have you ever thought about real estate investing? Making money, buying a house, flipping a house, rentals. There's many, many ways to make money in real estate investing. And what I'm going to cover today is the top 10 things that I wished I had told myself in my 20s to pay attention to. Because right now I'm about to turn 37 next month. And I was thinking to myself, what did I really learn in my 20s that I wish I had known then that would have propelled me forward much farther than where I am now? So that's what we're going to cover today. So let's start with number one. The first one is the turtle will almost always beat the hare. And what I mean by that is when I first started investing, I had these ideas that I was going to go and buy hundreds of houses. I was going to do all this stuff really, really quickly. And you can get wrapped up real estate investing when you first start out studying this stuff by the big numbers. And you could think, wow, I'm going to be wealthy really, really quick. And the truth is, it takes time. It takes time to build a strong foundation in real estate. So if you're the turtle, you're actually going to be more successful than the hare, because what happens is if you start trying to do too much too quickly, then you're going to trip over yourself. And for reasons I'll get into later, that's going to cause you to fall behind. While the turtle, who may be doing just 1 or 2 transactions a year, real estate investing, will eventually surpass the hare who made mistakes trying to do too much too quickly. And that was my experience. If you're young and you're trying to get involved in real estate and real estate investing and trying to make money in real estate, there's so many different ways to do it. There's so many different things you're going to learn that you may be tempted to go out and overstretch yourself doing too much too quickly. And then you realize you're in a mess. And that's what happened to me to some extent. Back in 2007, I purchased 27 houses. 27 houses when I was 27. That was very, very ambitious and actually led to a downfall when the market crashed. I wasn't prepared for that. Whereas if I'd been more conservative and more cautious and more diverse in what I was doing, I would have been all right. So that's tip number one. I wish I would have known. The turtle will almost always beat the hare. Tip number 2, net worth ain't worth a lot. It's really fun to go around telling everybody, hey, I'm worth $1 million. You could be worth a lot and not have money to buy a sandwich. It's not about net worth. Net worth doesn't mean anything. It's just numbers on a piece of paper. So if you have a house and say you bought a house, you're investing, and you have a mortgage on that house for $80,000. The house is worth $100,000. Well, you're worth $20,000. What can that $20,000 do for you, though? It can't buy you a sandwich. So net worth ain't worth a lot. And it sounds, you can get caught up in the ego of all this, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't buy anything. It's all about cash flow, which we're also going to get to a little bit later. Tip number 3, if you're a wild-eyed 20-year-old trying to invest, it's okay to visit Margaritaville while you're empire building. So what I mean by that, when I was in my 20s, I worked and worked and worked and worked to build and build and build and build what I thought was going to be my future. I had visions of when I was 30 to be laying on the beach, taking the easy life because I had built all this. And some things out of my control came into play, and a lot of things in my control came into play, but it didn't work out. I was dead broke at 30. Completely broke, had to file bankruptcy a year or two later. And what I wish I had told myself in my 20s is it's okay to take time off to enjoy life a little bit. It's okay because sometimes, even if you do everything correctly, it's not going to work out. So take time every now and then to enjoy life. And it's not about spending money to enjoy life. It's about doing the small things. Go take a hike, go enjoy nature, but take time away to reset yourself and reset your mind. And you'll ultimately be more successful in real estate investing by doing that. So this is Shane Wilson. We're at the Real Estate Roundtable. We're just going over a few things. I wish I told myself in my 20s. Again, a lot of people get caught up like watching HGTV and all these other shows about flipping, and it looks glorious and it looks fun, and it is fun. But it can also be dangerous if you make mistakes, and that's what we're covering today. So we've covered 3. We talked about the turtle almost always beat the hare. And we talked about it's okay to visit Margaritaville and take a little bit of time for yourself. And we also talked about how net worth ain't worth a lot. So we're going to move on to tip number 4. And this was a big one that I didn't realize till my late 20s. Basically, you're going out and you're making these transactions and you think you're making progress. But the stone that's tossed into the pond really does cast ripples that last and grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So what I mean by this is you're dealing with large numbers. So if you don't purchase correctly, because there's a saying that you make money when you purchase a home, not when you sell the home. So if the numbers are not correct when you purchase the home, you're going to end up losing money when you sell the home later. And this is what I mean by the stone. You make a decision. That one decision will cast ripples that go further and further out and last a long time. So you can make bad decisions that will last for years, but it only takes like a day or two to make that decision. So you need to be careful in your decisions. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody away from investing in real estate. It's very numbers based, but you got to know what you're doing and not get caught up in emotions and get caught up in ego. You just got to follow the proven path that many, many people have taken before to make money selling houses, renovating houses, or renting houses. So don't listen to the TV shows. They sell you a product on TV to get you to watch it. Real life's a little bit different. And Thursday, I'm actually hosting a group of real estate investors who have been there and done that. So if you are curious about real estate investing, or you are a real estate investor, you should come check it out. You should just Google me, Shane Wilson Real Estate, on Facebook. Shane Wilson Real Estate Facebook. My Facebook page should come up, and shoot me a message, and I'll shoot you the details of where we're hosting the meeting at. But it's going to be real estate investors who have been there, done this. And if you are curious about real estate investing, or you're in real estate investing, then you should come by and check it out, because we all have stories. We all have knowledge that we can pass on, and that's going to be the quickest way you can learn. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, if you want to do real estate investing, come check it out and learn from people who have been there and done that. Trying to learn from books, trying to learn from online is one way to do it, but talking to people who have been there and done it before is going to be your quickest way to learn and gain knowledge and actually start taking action in this business. So the next tip I wish I had known when I was 20 is be the surfer and see the waves. What had happened is 2005, 6, even mostly 2007 went really, really well for me. And at that point, I thought that I was unstoppable, that there was nothing that I couldn't overcome in this business. And what I failed to realize is real estate is cyclical. Like in 2005, people were actually talking about how the market will never crash. and they were wrong. So being able to see the waves as they approach and ride those waves. It doesn't take a lot of genius to just look at the market, if you're in the market, and see where it's going in a 3 to 6 month period and adjust to that and assume that that's going to hold until you see the change yourself. What I failed to realize in 2007 is the market was going down, and I did see that, but I was playing a speculative game where I was buying houses and hoping that within a couple of years, I could turn back around and sell those houses for a profit. What I failed to realize is things were degrading in the financial market. Banks were not making loans anymore, and house values were going down. So I was chasing a snowball going downhill based on a speculation that I thought values were just going to go back up. What I should have done was see the wave of everything going downhill and either stop all activity and move on to something else, or figure out a way to make money in a negative market. But I should not have kept doing what I continued doing, just thinking because I was successful that I would keep being successful no matter what. So in real estate, you got to be the surfer and see the waves and ride those waves. And this is true even if you're just looking to buy a house for yourself to live in. You know, you can look at the neighborhoods. You can see which neighborhoods are appreciating in value, and you can buy based on numbers that make sense. Don't overbuy, but you can buy on numbers that make sense. So be the surfer, see the waves, and when you're doing deals, you have to see the waves as far as the house you're buying, what's current, the trends, where things are going, and you have to stay on top of it. So we're on 6 now, and this was a big one. Back in the day, I was reading books about real estate investing. You may be reading books about real estate investing if you're trying to get started. And there's 2 camps. There's a camp that basically says you can go and leverage everything out, which will allow you to acquire more assets quicker. And the other camp says, no, you need to pay cash for everything. And that's the more foundation-based way to do this. And the answer is actually in the middle. But if you're playing with leverage and you're leveraging out all your properties to 80%, 75%, then your cash flow is going to be very little, and you're playing with a double-edged sword. Leverage is great. When it goes well, you're going to get really far ahead. When it goes bad, you're going to get really, really far behind. When I was talking about the ripples earlier, you're going to get really, really far behind if it goes bad. Trust me on that one. So when I look back at everything, if I had kept everything leveraged at 50% loan to value on my rentals, I would have been just fine, because I was been able to cash flow and actually receive money every month, and I would have been fine as far as making my monthly payments. What happened was I ended up refinancing my properties, pulling cash out, and I ended up, in the end, not cash flowing. And there's a difference between what you think cash flow is and real cash flow. So that's 6 tips I wish I had known when I was younger about real estate investing. And again, this is Shane Wilson, the Real Estate Roundtable. I work with Remax Select Realty. I'm a real estate agent and real estate investor. Been in this business for years. I've been successful. I've made money. I've lost money. I've made money again. And all my knowledge is here for you this hour. And today we're covering real estate investing, some things I wish I had known about 10 years ago. And that's one of the things. Life doesn't give you what you want; it gives you what you need. And in the end, I'm glad I learned these lessons. Even going through everything, these lessons have created a strong foundation for my business and for who I am now. So I'm very grateful I actually went through all this. And if you're looking to buy a house, just a personal residence, then you should go to an expert, if not me, someone else. But you're making a huge investment in your life. And most people only buy a few houses during a lifetime. And for most people, it will be the biggest investment they make. So you want to do it correctly. And tapping into somebody who has knowledge like that, such as me or any other agent who's competent. Again, you need to do your homework on anybody you're trying to do business with. Make sure they do know what they're doing. They will help propel you to making the correct purchase. Same thing for real estate investing. Go get around other investors who have been there and done that. And then you will also learn what the mistakes other people have made. And if you really take heart to that, you can avoid some of those obstacles as well. So just to recap, let's recap the 6 tips I would have gave myself in my 20s as far as real estate investing. If you're a real estate investor, doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, these are tips that you should probably take to heart. The turtle will almost always beat the hare. Don't be in a hurry. You get in a hurry, you're going to make mistakes. We're dealing with very large numbers in the real estate business. It's not scary if you know what you're doing, but don't get in a hurry. Don't do too much. Number 2, net worth ain't worth a lot. It can sound really cool to say you're worth a lot, but if you don't have cash in the bank, it doesn't matter. You're still not going to be able to buy a sandwich. Number 3, it's okay to visit Margaritaville while you're empire building. Because when you look back, and if the empire crumbled, or even if you did build it, you're going to look back and say, hey, I missed out on enjoying life sometimes. It's all about balance. You got to balance it out. I am of the camp that you have to hustle. Don't get me wrong on that. I believe if you're going to be successful, you have to work 10, 12, 13 hours a day sometimes for weeks on end if you're going to be successful. But you have to take breaks in between that time so you're not constantly destroying yourself mentally, which will also cause you to make mistakes as well. And like I said, it doesn't have to be blowing money to enjoy yourself. Simple things like getting away and just taking time to yourself is what I'm talking about. Number 4. Number 4 is going to be the stone tossed into the pond. The stone tossed into the pond creates ripples, and those ripples will extend out. So if you make a bad decision, it's going to ripple out for time to come. It's very quick to make a decision. If you make a good decision, conversely, that's also going to ripple out and build upon itself and allow you to get quicker and further ahead. So just make sure that decisions you make are, to the best of your ability, the correct decisions that you're trying to do. And then next up is be the surfer and see the waves. So again, you want to see the waves as they're approaching. You can basically look out and see the trends are approaching for the next 3 to 6 months and take advantage. What is the advantage in the marketplace for you? And what strategic moves can you make as an investor to secure your position? And then Dave Ramsey really is right. Better than leveraging yourself out, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion and my experience. Leverage is a double-edged sword. Leverage might be a great thing. If it works out perfect, then you're going to be fine. But if it goes bad, it's going to go bad, very badly, and it's going to take years to recover. I very much believe in cash for my long-term holds. So if I have a property, I want it to be paid off in cash. To be flipping, then I very much believe in leverage because that's going to be short-term leverage. I'm borrowing money for a short term at a price that is going to convert into a profit. So short-term leverage, I'm okay with. Long-term, I really prefer my stuff to be paid off or no more than 50% leverage. And by that, I mean, if I've got a mortgage payment of $400 a month, I want a rental payment of at least $800 a month. That gives me the room to account for taxes, insurance, maintenance, and vacancies, and all the other issues that you're not going to foresee. So this is Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable. We're talking about real estate investing, some things I wish I had taught myself when I was in my 20s. I'd be a lot further along now. But I've taken those lessons to heart, building a very successful business right now, real estate agent, real estate investor. And now I'm just giving back and helping people. This Thursday, like I said, we're doing a real estate investor group. We're meeting. If you want to take part in that, look me up on Facebook, Shane Wilson Real Estate. Shoot me a message, and I'll tell you exactly where it's at, what time it is. It's going to be Thursday at 6:30. We should have a group of about 5 to 10 real investors out there. So if you've ever been curious about real estate, you should come out and take a look at it. Later on, probably next month, I'll be doing a home buyer seminar where I spend probably about 4 hours going over everything that you need to learn to buy a house from start to finish. Go over all the financing, all the types of financing. So that'll be coming up in a month or two. I haven't decided on a date yet. People, now's going to be the time to get out there and get you a house. Interest rates are still low. And we've been very, very fortunate that they've stayed this low over the past several years. Cannot predict the future, but eventually they probably will go up. And you need to lock in that mortgage now while the rates are low so you can lock that payment in low and lock it in for 30 years. You don't want to be renting 30 years from now when you can lock in a payment at a much lower rate. And we can help you through that entire process. We have preferred lenders who can tell you how, and if you got bad credit, they can tell you how to fix that credit and get you into position to purchase a house. So we've went through 6 tips I wish I would have told myself in my 20s. I've got 4 tips left. And they're pretty important as well. Probably the more important tips I'm going to give you today. And we're going to cover those on the second half of the show. So I definitely want you to stay tuned in for that. So my question is, I've talked about some of the concerns of real estate investing. And I don't want to be negative about it. It's actually a really good thing. I just think a lot of people jump into it based on hype and positivity without looking into the negative aspects. You got to know both sides. The positive aspects is if you do it correctly, I prefer investments that I can touch and see versus paper and speculation, such as the stock market. I know nothing about the stock market. I know people make money in that. But what I do know is houses. And if you're in a position and you want to plan for your future, you have to choose how you're going to do that. It doesn't matter if you choose real estate. It doesn't matter if you choose stocks. You need to choose a vehicle so that when you're older, you have money coming in. I don't think anyone should ever stop working per se, but I do think everybody should have some kind of plan in place so that when the future arrives, you've got something to help support yourself, and you're not relying on Social Security or some other form of government assistance, because you can just never tell about that. So I'm a big believer in real estate investing, particularly if it's done right. And I believe that if you spend a good 10 years, I know it seems like a long time, but 10 years just really focused and working at it, you can set yourself up that you will have a very, very secure future. Wow, I feel good. So this is Shane Wilson at Real Estate Roundtable. I want you to come back for the second half of the show because I've got 4 very, very important tips I wish I had known in my 20s. And if you're looking to invest in real estate or you're just curious about real estate, you should pay attention to these tips as well. This is Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
There's a reason why Alliance Physical Therapy is a choice of professionals and those who care about first-class, top-notch service and treatment. Because at Alliance Physical Therapy of Chattanooga, we don't just treat the symptoms in your body. Whether you're suffering from stiffness, muscle spasms, back pain, chronic headaches every day, stress of life demanding more and more of you, Alliance Physical Therapy takes a holistic approach to healing, mind, body, and soul. Alliance Physical Therapy with a location near you and 9 others in the Chattanooga area. If you don't have a doctor or if your physician's plan for chronic pain is not working, Alliance Physical Therapy will help. Visit Alliance Physical Therapy on the web at nopainpt.com. That's nopainpt.com. Alliance Physical Therapy.
Amigos Mexican Restaurant in Hickson, featuring our NASCAR Natty Light for only $2.25 all day during the Sprint Cup race. That's right, all day during the race. Enjoy a cool, crisp, refreshing brew. Natty Light, just $2.25. Also choose from a wide variety of other beverages on tap or in the bottle. Amigos, between Hobby Lobby and Staples in Hickson. Amigos Mexican Restaurant, a real homemade taste of Mexico. And Natty Light for only $2.25 during the Sprint Cup race. A festive atmosphere, great service and prices, a fantastic taste. Always fresh, never frozen. Stay cool, quench your thirst at happy hour, 9 to 3 today and every day, featuring huge drink specials at Amigos. Take the table next to mine. We'll enjoy the Sprint Cup race on huge flat screen TVs with friends and family. See you here at the Cantina Amigos.
Is your career taking you where you want to go? If not, talk to Covenant Group Insurance, especially if you like helping people. Call and learn how you can work for yourself, but not by yourself. Intense but free training, plus a fantastic lead program, plus office support equals your success, your prosperity. Gross at least $75,000 your first year selling insurance. Call Steve or Jada for a confidential interview. That's 855-8484. Maybe the most important call you'll make all year.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Until 40 Nooga Radio News, Russell Stroud reporting. Eastridge police say that after an argument, a man was shot on Burns Avenue at about 1 a.m. Officers found 37-year-old male pierced by a bullet in the abdomen. Investigators say that the gunman escaped in a Nissan Frontier-style pickup with a female about the same age as himself. Witnesses say that the altercation started over that woman. David Campbell, a Chattanooga police officer, has been fired after a disciplinary hearing for harassment, false arrest, and vehicle use policy violation. He's the arresting officer in the Hanson Melvin case covered on Nooganomics.com, in which Officer Campbell's possible lying on a police report is covered. A home on Signal Mountain burst into flames. The duplex is a complete loss. Firefighters say that there were no injuries. Damage is estimated to be about $400,000. A strange outbreak of graffiti in Ottawa is causing confusion among neighbors. They say racial slurs were spray painted in orange spray paint right next to an elementary school. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Nooga Radio News. Be sure to like us on Facebook, the exclusive home of NASCAR.
Expect increasing clouds and very mild weather through your afternoon. A few showers will push in from the south and west. Highs 65 to 70 tonight. More scattered showers, some late fog as well. Lows mid-50s. For Wednesday, after a morning shower, highs back into the upper 60s. Warmer for Thursday. Looking for your dream home? McBriar Realty can help. With decades of experience, they get big-time results with small-town values. Licensed for the tri-state area. Check McBriarRealty.com for their complete listings. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr. On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
This is Shane Wilson with the Real Estate Roundtable Show, your local real estate rock star. Dispensing knowledge about real estate investing today. Glad you came back. We've got 4 more tips that I'm going to give you. I wish I'd gave myself when I was in my 20s. I would have been a lot further along now if I'd taken heart to these. But first, just to remind you guys, I work with Remax Select Realty. I am the real estate rock star. Like I said, if you're looking to buy a house, sell a house, if you're just curious about investing, I just love talking about real estate. So at the end of the show, I'll give you my contact information, or you can just Google me or Facebook me, Shane Wilson Real Estate, and you'll find me. To real estate investing. Again, an area I'm very, very passionate about. And let's move on. Well, we covered 6 tips in the first half of the show. Again, just to recap those really, really quickly, the turtle will almost always beat the hare. Take your time and build a strong foundation. Don't get in a hurry. You'll trip yourself up. Net worth ain't worth a lot. It's really nice to say you're worth $1 million, but if you can't buy a sandwich, it doesn't matter. A lot of people look like they have money based on net worth and what they have. Truth is, they actually don't have real stable financial conditions. Number 3, it's okay to visit Margaritaville while you're empire building. Be sure to take time out for yourself to reset your mind, and you'll actually be more profitable. Number 4, the stone tossed into the pond really does cast unstoppable ripples. Whatever decision you make is going to ripple out, whether good or bad. It's going to ripple out for times. Number 5, be the surfer and see the waves. Look at the market on a 3 to 6 month basis and see which way it is going and adjust your strategy to that. Number 6, Dave Ramsey really is right. Cash is secure. If you're going through a downturn, if your stuff is based on cash or at least 50% leveraged out, you're going to be okay. If you're more than that, you could be in trouble. Number 7. This is the new one. Did you hear about a kid named Icarus? Does everybody remember the story of Icarus? Flew too close to the sun? Don't believe the hype about yourself. And this is particularly good for people who are in their 20s. Because here's the situation. You're going to have people coming up to you and say, wow, I wish I had started this at your age. I would be so much further along now. And you're going to get what's called yes people telling you that everything you're doing is perfect and correct. And then you're going to feel the need to validate that by saying how good you're doing, and then you get more praise back. So it's a cycle. And what ends up happening is if you're making bad decisions, you don't see these bad decisions. And you'll fly too close to the sun and end up getting burned. So don't believe the hype about yourself. Look at cold, hard facts and what is working and what is not working. And do not be afraid to change your strategy when it's time to do so. Don't hang on to something just because everybody is telling you what you're doing is correct. Look at the numbers. Are you making money? Are you making sound decisions? Where is the market going? And base your plan on that. Don't believe the hype about yourself. And that's very, very important. That's just the mindset that you have to have. Whether it's real estate investing or anything you're doing, see results, fact-based results, not what people are building your ego on. So that's tip number 7. Don't believe the hype about yourself. And this, you don't even have to be in your 20s for that. It could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s. If you look successful, doesn't mean you are successful. If you look successful, though, everybody is going to tell you that you are successful. Or will make you look a lot more successful than you actually are sometimes. What matters is what's your goals, what's your strategies, and are you meeting those goals and strategies? If you're not, don't be afraid to adjust, and don't be afraid to do things that other people may not see as correct if you're adjusting before the market is. Tip number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're on number 8 already. So we covered 7 very valuable tips. And again, this is not this is what you have to do. This is, you do this, A plus B plus C is going to be successful. A lot of these are just more mindsets that I wish I would have had. If I had these mindsets, I would have been a lot more successful. So take these mindsets into what you're doing. It doesn't even have to be real estate based, and ingrain them, and you'll probably be more successful, because a lot of this stuff can apply to more than just real estate. But real estate's my passion. That's my knowledge. That's my expertise. And that's what I apply to. But tip number 8, be careful what you ask for. And this applies a little bit to tip number 1 about the turtle and the hare. If you set a goal, a really large goal, then, and you work really hard, you may achieve that goal. But it could also be more than what you asked for. Let me ask you this. What's better? Owning 100 houses or owning 10 houses? And you may be thinking 100 houses, great. Look at all that. 100 houses, all that money. But do you realize that you have 100 times more headaches? Or 10 times. If you got 10 houses, so it'd be 10 times more headaches. So you got 90 more tenants to deal with. You've got 90 more repair issues. You've got 90 more potentials for liabilities, fires, disasters. You have a lot more potential headaches. Whereas if you have 10 houses, they're paid off. You know, if you have 10 houses that rent for $1,000 a month, that's $10,000 a month. Most people can live very, very well a month. Now, obviously, you have to take out expenses and all that, but still, you can live very, very well. And how easy is it to manage, say, 10 houses versus 100 houses? That's where people get burned out is just going and going and going without really looking at what's their goals. Is your goal to become a real estate guru and own 100 houses? Simply to have freedom. Freedom as in cash flow every month that allows you to do what you want to do with as little headache as possible. There's also the notion that you can have this financial freedom with no work ever at all. And that's incorrect. Even with 10 houses, you're still going to have headaches, you're still going to have issues, and you're still going to have problems that come up. But what you need to look at is what's your specific goals. If you want to buy 100 houses, then go for it. Not stopping you, but realize what you're getting into. Sometimes you can ask for more than you actually bargain for. And then once you're in it, it can be very, very hard to get out. Because if you have 100 houses and you suddenly realize, hey, this isn't what I want, and then to dispose of those 100 houses or to get out of that situation can be a huge headache as well. One thing I often ask people, and you can think about yourself, is I will ask people to say, hey, do you think you can handle a business that, grosses $10 million a year? Do you think you could actually handle that? And a lot of people say, yeah, I could do that. That'd be great. But the truth is, if you could, you would actually already be doing it. You got to build the foundation and work your way up. But be careful what you ask for, because if you get too much going on, because a person with a $10 million a year business has $10 million a year headaches. It's not all roses. The more financial gain you make, the more headaches you have, generally speaking. And there's a tipping point where going too far and you become a workaholic and your life is no fun. So you got to have balance. Don't do too much. Keep in mind what your actual goal is. And again, this could be getting tied up with the Icarus tip I gave earlier, basically that you could be, your identity is based on what people are telling you about yourself, that you're just great real estate investor. But the truth is that what you really want? What's your ultimate goal? If it's freedom, financial freedom, then just do what works for you, get to that point, and don't be afraid to move on to something else. Don't get caught up in other people's view of yourself. So this is Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable, covering real estate investment today. Tips I wish I would have gave myself in my 20s so far. And just to recap the two we've covered so far, did you hear about a kid named Icarus? Don't fly too close to the sun. Don't believe the hype about yourself. People are going to tell you you're doing wonderful, you're doing great, but you need to look at your actual results and see if they measure up to that. And then the other tip we've covered on the second half today, be careful what you ask for. Less is more. You have an idea to make all this money and have all these houses, but the truth is less is actually going to be more. So moving on to the next tip. That whole fish fable is actually true. So the story on this I'm talking about is the whole, you can bring a horse to water, or you can teach a man, you can give a man a fish, or you can teach a man to fish, and they'll feed themselves for a lifetime. And that's true. As you become successful in real estate investing, you're going to find out that a lot of people are going to want to learn from you, but they just want it to be given to them. They actually don't want to do it themselves. And that's one of the things about being around experienced investors. You'll find out very quickly. Very free, very open, very conversating, very willing to help. But it's going to be up to you to actually make it happen. And we have a meeting this Thursday, real estate investors, about 5 to 10 of us get together. And we're going to discuss actual real estate investing from real people who do it. So if you're curious about real estate investing, Wilson Real Estate, shoot me a message and I will tell you about it. But the fish fable is very true. You have to learn and do this on your own so you can continue to do it. Don't expect anyone to hand it to you. Knowledge is very easy to find, but you got to sort out which knowledge is correct, and you have to learn to do it for yourself. I've tried to tell people how to do real estate investing before, but they don't go out and actually do it. And therefore, they're not successful. Most people who love the idea of real estate investing, very few people actually go out and do it correctly. And we're coming up upon one more final tip. But let's recap the 9 tips so far. The turtle will almost always beat the hare. Again, go at a pace that is solid. Don't go too fast. Don't try to do too much. Net worth ain't worth a lot. Can't buy a sandwich even if you're worth $1 million. Doesn't help you. It's okay to visit Margaritaville while you're empire building. Take time for yourself, reset yourself, and be willing to relax. Don't get caught up in working all the time, because even if you do everything correctly, sometimes it may not work out. The stone tossed into the pond really does cast unstoppable ripples. Every decision you make will ripple out into the future. Some of those decisions can last for years. Good decision, good choice will ripple out. Bad decision, again, will ripple out as well. Be the surfer and see the waves. You want to see the waves coming up in the marketplace in the next 3 to 6 months. Adjust your strategy for that. And don't assume that you can predict the future on out. Go with what you can see and adjust to what you see. Don't speculate. Dave Ramsey really is right. If you're looking to build secure foundation for the future, focus on cash or 50% or less leverage. If you're going short-term flips, it's okay to use leverage. I'm okay with that. Next up, did you hear about a kid named Icarus? Close to the sun, don't believe your own hype. Results are what matter, and make sure you're making correct decisions and that you're watching the market. Don't believe the hype about yourself from people who aren't actually doing anything. Careful what you ask for. Less is more. You may dream of doing 100 houses, owning 100 houses, but is it really worth it when you can own 10 houses and still be very financially secure? Bump it up to 20 houses. Very, very secure. But you don't have the headaches of 100 houses or 200 houses. And the whole fish thing is true. You have to learn how to do this yourself. You can't rely upon anyone to hand you this. It's going to be up to you to take the knowledge, learn the knowledge, and run with it. So tip number 10, and this is the most important one that I learned. Did you check the mail today? And what do I mean by this? If you checked your mail today, when you went out to your mailbox, you pulled your mail out, do you have more bills? Or do you have checks from other people in your mailbox? More. That's the way I found to explain financial freedom. You want to have more checks coming into your mailbox that are paying you money versus bills going out. And you want those checks to be relatively passive income that you're not having to work too difficult for. Real estate is one way to do this. You can have rentals. You can have notes. Those are 2 passive income opportunities where people mail you checks each month. And the goal is to have less checks going out each month from your mailbox. So have more checks coming in from rentals, from holding notes or other means, and have less checks going out to pay mortgages, to pay bills, et cetera, et cetera. That's as simple as it gets. If you can get a consistent stream of income each month, people mailing you checks and less money going out, you have financial freedom. And as long as you're not putting in too much work. My definition is, can I go anywhere, travel anywhere, and still make an income with minimum work? That to me is financial freedom. That's not going to be the definition you see and hear in other places, but that's the realistic definition. That's the definition that's realistic and true. You're not going to have a business that you can disappear to Hawaii, never check on that business, and have money just fill in your bank account. Very, very rare that something like that's going to come along. And actually, the most successful people with automated businesses are still working very, very each and every day. Because one bonus tip that I'm going to give you is you start out with a dream of being financially free, of having that retirement, of being by the beach and doing nothing. But the truth is, that's not very fulfilling. What you'll find is once you start working, for example, I'm in real estate. My passion is real estate. I don't want to stop working now. I enjoy what I do. And I'm about to be 37. Like I said, these are all tips I wish I would have gave myself in my 20s. And I'm sure in my 40s, I'm going to have a whole set of tips for my 30s. But this is something I'm going to continue doing pretty much my entire life. There's always going to be variances in how much I'm into it or not into it. But that's the goal, is to find something that you really enjoy in life and pursue it. And real estate can be a vehicle that will allow you to do that. If you can get 10 paid off houses, that will give you a nice income to pursue what it is that you want to pursue in life. And it's not that difficult to manage those houses. So did you check the mail today? Because it's all about cash flow, the money you got coming into the bank. It's not about what you're worth. It's about the checks being mailed to you and the bills coming in. Which one's more? And that's the whole definition of financial freedom. Your job pays you for your time. People mailing you checks are paying you for your assets that you own. That's the big difference. So this is Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable. Today we've discussed real estate investing. Just a few tips I've thrown out there for you guys. If you have an interest in real estate investing, look me up on Facebook, Shane Wilson Real Estate. Shoot me a message. I love talking about this stuff. If you actually want to contact me after the show. My number, 706-537-0234, is actually my direct cell phone number. Just give me a call and let's talk about real estate. It's what I do. It's what I love. And I do it every single day. I actually end up working most of the weekend. When you intertwine what you do with your normal life, it doesn't seem like work. And this does not seem like work to me. So I hope you find something like that as well. Whether it's real estate or whatever it is, I hope that you find something similar, that you can take on in your life so it doesn't seem like work. Because that's ultimately the freedom, in addition to financial freedom, that you should probably be looking for. Find what fulfills you. So Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable. I'm a free Max Select Realty. Again, just full of real estate knowledge here. If you're looking to buy a house, you're looking to sell a house, if you're an investor, contact me. Shane Wilson Real Estate on Facebook or Google should pull up my contact information. And let's talk real estate. If you're looking to buy a house, if you don't know how to buy a house, I will help you through that process from start to finish. Like I said, next month, I'm looking to probably do a home buyer seminar where we just do a half-day event where I cover everything there is about buying a house. Things you should look for, the things you should learn, the different types of loans. If your credit's poor, what you can do to build that back up. And then this Thursday, the real estate investor group that I'm running is meeting. We're going to get together and just talk real estate. It's also going to be an exchangers group, which is a little bit more I can get into, time to have to get into here. But contact me about that if you want in on that. I will hook you up with that. And like I said, I hope these tips have been useful. Things I wish I had known in my 20s. And I've taken them to heart, building a very successful business now. Very much at a slow rate, though, at a very secure rate. And that's the biggest difference. I was trying to do too much when I was younger. And when the market crashed, I was out of it for a few years. Got into real estate again a couple of years ago. I became a very successful real estate agent. And then I've been also investing in real estate the past couple of years as well. And the next couple of years are still looking good on the real estate market that I can see. But again, I analyze things on a 3 to 6 month level. And I can tell you for the next 3 to 6 months, everything looks pretty good. So if you're looking to buy a house, you're looking to sell a house, or you want to learn about real estate investing, I would get in right now and take advantage of that. So next week, I'm going to have a co-host. Her name is Andrea Gorey, and she is actually one of my team members. And we're going to dispense some knowledge about the buying process. So if you're a buyer, she shows houses for a lot of our buyers, and she knows all the stuff that you should be looking for when you're buying a house. And we're going to have a discussion on that and go over that process. So I hope you tune in then, and I hope you find the knowledge that we give out very, very valuable. And she'll be on. We'll talk about that, and we'll cover all kinds of good stuff. in the next few weeks when it comes to real estate. I hope to make this show very, very informative, very, very enjoyable for the audience out there, and very relatable too. I don't want to be technical. I don't want to use jargon that you don't understand. Show that you appreciate and that you can learn from. So this is Shane Wilson, Real Estate Roundtable. We should see you again next week. If you want to contact me, 706-537-0234. Look me up on Facebook or Google, Shane Wilson Real Estate. Hope you enjoyed this week's show. We shall see you again next week.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Oh, he's got a bad breath. And once he slobbered. But your dog's teeth are important for his health. The canine dentist at Wolf Fever has an offer. Listen, ultrasonic cleaning, polishing, x-rays, only $135. Ordinarily, you'd pay $175. For a few days, pay only $135. And get $115 in freebies as a thank you. Grooming, boarding at the inn at Wolf Fever. Act this week. Use anytime this year. Floss and rinse now. 344-1913. wolfteaver.com.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis has the cash when you sell gold, silver, diamonds, rings, and jewelry. Sell Rick your precious metals today and lock in your price. Hey, Rick Davis will trade your cash for shiny, brilliant, and heavy gold. Gold cheaper now by $100 an ounce. Join the Rick Davis Silver Bonanza too. Prices so low, the Lone Ranger is bound to gallop in, Kimosabe.
Hey-ho, silver, away!
The markets are changing, so buy now. Cash, 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 and more cash for your silver and gold, gold, gold. Rick Davis, 5301 Brainerd Road. That's 5301 Brainerd Road. Rick Davis Gold and Diamond.